What the fuck was that? I'm thinking of ending things. More like Perks of Being a Wallflower, am I right? I'm Thinking of Ending Things was written and directed by Charlie Kaufman and stars Jesse Plemons, Jessie Buckley, David Thewlis, and Toni Collette. I don't even know where to start with this movie. A direct line from the movie is actually, I don't know what this is, it doesn't make sense. And I feel that. Normally I do my reviews after sitting on a movie for a little bit, but I just had to talk about this one immediately, hence me doing it at nighttime, which I normally don't do because of my phone camera. But this movie, in terms of plot, I can't give you much, even if I wanted to, but it's basically about a girl who has a boyfriend that she's already kind of doubting whether she's going to really continue their relationship with, and she goes to meet his parents at their farmhouse in kind of the middle of nowhere while it's snowing. So that's kind of a perfect setup to like a psychological thriller kind of thing, right? Right? If I had known this movie was written by Charlie Kaufman and directed by Charlie Kaufman, going into it, I would have had a different perspective. I didn't know that. Much like I didn't know that Mother was directed by Darren Aronofsky when I went to see that. I should really start looking into who the director is more often. And this movie actually reminded me a little bit of Mother. Not obviously like plot-wise per se, but tonally it reminded me of that. So if you like Mother, you might like this movie. It is based off a book, but apparently it takes some liberties. Let's start with some of the positives. It is a very good-looking movie. Like the aesthetic of the snow, and even though there aren't really a lot of opportunities to have crazy camera movements or anything, because it's a lot of sitting and a lot of conversation and a lot of dialogue, they really do a good job of framing in this one and in showing what characters are thinking through the framing or how their interactions are going. Generally, the cinematography is just really kind of beautiful. And obviously you're going to have that when you have snow, but really with the lighting and everything inside the house, really everywhere that they have, because it's mostly in the house and in this car, it's really good looking. It's nice soft lighting, and it's very inviting, you know. It's also a very intriguing movie. For most, it's going to be very slow, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because not all of it, I'm going to preface with this, but not all of it is boring. It's slow, but it's intriguing. It's suspenseful. It draws you in. It makes you, for a lot of the scenes, it makes you like on the edge of your seat wondering what's happening in every word that's happening on screen. Like, I'm talking like things just in general interactions with people. They're so awkward and so well crafted to be like suspenseful, but as if this could potentially be like a real conversation. There's a lot of repeated motions, a lot of like back and forth emotions, like somebody's happy really quickly and then they're very sad. And then they're happy again. There are people de-aging and aging again from scene to scene. There's a lot of mispronouncing of words and just people get really angry over it. There's just so much weird tension. And the awkwardness and the cringiness of those conversations in the house and in the car are extremely well crafted. Like, the writing, whether or not it makes sense, actually gives that weird tone of something is happening here. We're working towards something. And the other thing is, it's very inventive. Like, in terms of how it's filmed, there's a lot of interesting things that they do that are very weird. Don't get me wrong. But it's very interesting. Like, they have like a movie in the movie. They have like a lot of cartoonish looking things. I mean, it's really interesting what they do. It's just kind of a shame that inventiveness goes to waste. I just did not understand the point of this movie. I'm going to be really honest with you. I know Charlie Kaufman does a lot of very metaphoric, abstract things to like talk about the human condition. And I get that. And I will be honest, I've never actually seen another Charlie Kaufman movie. This was my first, which was kind of cool. But I just don't get it. And I don't know if I'm supposed to. I don't know if that just makes me stupid or not an intellectual or something like that. But I just did not understand the point of this movie whatsoever. The plot of this movie seems pretty straightforward, and you think that you're going to get one thing, and it turns into a whole bunch of other stuff. That being said, it raises a lot of questions. I mean, like, a lot of questions. My problem with it is that it does not attempt whatsoever to give you any answers, or not even answers, but just any sort of resolve. And for me, I get that you can have like a metaphoric ending or something that's like very open-ended, or just kind of bringing up some questions and then seeing how the story plays out, and kind of getting your answer based off of that and what you took from that ending. I get that. But here, it's not even like there is any form of an ending. Like, I really just wish that they had ended things and just didn't, because the end, this movie does not know what it wants to be. Okay? It doesn't know if it wants to be a thriller. It doesn't know if it wants to be like an awkward comedy or a musical or some intellectual. Because yes, while there is a lot of that unsettling psychological thrillerness to it, there is a surprising amount of deep conversation. And that's almost like a third of the movie. And while it's okay to have that, it's really boring. I'm going to be honest with you, because they just talk quickly and quickly and quickly, and you don't know what they're saying. Sometimes it's really cool, and it's like, wow, I never thought about that. But then sometimes it's like, what in the shit are we even talking about here? Like, I was so confused, and that's probably my biggest problem with the movie, is that it either feels like it doesn't have anything to say, but it's trying to. Like, it's trying to sound intellectual and have all these really big conversations, but it's really talking about, like, nothing, and therefore just feels super pretentious. Or, how do I put this? About 2 years ago, when my nephew was a baby, my aunt was holding him, and he tried to speak. He had a lot he wanted to say, but he couldn't. He just kept making noises, right? And my aunt would just be like, yeah, and what else? Tell me what else. That is this movie. It wants to say so much. Or it just has something specific it really wants to say, and it just can't. And again, I don't know whether that's because it really doesn't have anything to say and it just feels like it might, or it just tries too many things at once to try to get its point across. And bringing up all of those topics, all those questions, and leading it to nothing, basically. Like, again, not even like some sort of resolve, but it just feels like it just is a chain of random events at the end that just, like, unless you're super, super smart, unless you're a genius, if you watch the movie, you'll understand that reference. But unless you are really smart or just high, I don't think you're gonna, the average moviegoer is not gonna understand this. I didn't understand it. I did not know any of what it was trying to say. And that brings in a really good, I don't know, discussion point of what's too much, you know? Like, do we need these movies where it really makes us think? And, you know, maybe we just aren't understanding it, but we have to try to? Or is it just, this is kind of pointless because maybe it's just a rambling? You know, do we need those kind of movies just so we have them? I don't know. Personally, I did not really care for it in this one, at least, because there's been some movies where that's happened, but I at least could get something out of it. This one, I don't know. They bring up a lot of things in their conversations that you have to really listen to the conversations that it could be trying to explore. I don't know if it's about time or poetry or schizophrenia. I don't know. They bring up all these things, and I'm not sure if it's trying to be a commentary on all or one of them. I will say all the actors were incredible. Like, for whatever the hell this script was, they really did a good job in, I don't know, portraying it, and in making this such like a tense, psychologically weird and unsettling movie. David Thewlis, who plays Lupin from Harry Potter, I've never seen him in something where he was so weird, and that was really cool. Toni Collette, I had already seen her in Hereditary, and so it doesn't surprise me that she could play something eerie like this. And then Jesse Plemons, I think, really stole this. I mean, he had so much to do in this one. And Jessie Buckley, they were just so great. Like, they really, I don't know how you remember all those lines knowing that there's going to be like 2 scenes that are like 20 or 25 minutes long. But they were very, very good at having that kind of awkwardness, but also like the, oh, but we're in a relationship, so we're cool, right? Right? It is very, very abstract. If you like Charlie Kaufman, you're probably going to like this one. But it is very weird. Honestly, I would say maybe try it out just so maybe we can have more of these conversations. Other than that, you're probably going to hate it. I'll be honest with you. I don't know your movie tastes, but if you like more mainstream things, or even if you like things that are a little artsy, but just artsy enough, this one's frustrating. I'll say that. It's very frustrating. So, yeah, aesthetically, it's very cool. Story-wise, what I'm supposed to get out of it, no idea. If that makes me stupid, so be it. I know I'll probably go back years later and, watch it again and maybe get something else out of it. This is only my first time seeing it. I'm literally doing the review like 4 hours after I watched it. This is my immediate reaction. Who knows? Maybe I'll do another video where I'm like, I was wrong. Not sure. But for now, I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 4. Well, let me know what you guys think if you watch it. I really, really want to discuss this movie and have some thoughts on it, because I feel like there are just some things that went way over my head, and I want to understand it. I'm going to do some research on it. I'm going to do some explanation videos on it, but I don't know. And as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and movies right in the middle. Also, I'm just going to go on a tangent here really quickly. Why in the hell does Hollywood, or especially indie movies, why do they feel that they have to make the opening credits or end credits text so damn small? Like, I maybe understand it if it's a movie being played in theaters, but when you have a movie that's on Netflix, it's most likely going to be watched on a smaller screen or even like a big TV screen. There are so many movies that have text that, like, the title and the director and who's starring in it are small white letters that, like, relatively to your screen that you're watching this review on is like, I don't know, here, right there. That's how big it would be.